The following podcast may contain spoilers.
Are you alive tonight?
Bul'tar.
Oh, we're doing that one.
Yeah, no, I think I brought it in with Bul'tar last time, but like seriously, guys, are you alive tonight?
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about blood beating through your hearts. Yes, we all got that, but are you alive? Are you living your passion?
I'd say so. I saw a famous man on the street yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it's not my
For
passion to see famous men.
Tonight we are revisiting an old friend. We're doing another Knights episode, and tonight we're going to be talking about Praise the Orc.
PTO?
Nights. It's
Night.
at night.
I don't think we've ever recorded during the day.
No, we definitely did.
We have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had like days off back. Well, okay. We haven't recorded during the day in the past year at least.
And who are we? That would be the elusive Jonathan Kinney, your host.
I'm Bill!
The mysterious Richard.
The plain as the nose on your face, Seth. I have a big beard, but that's plain now.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're in Portland.
especially
You're
in
just
Portland.
a dime a dozen now.
Yeah, exactly.
But we are the Treading the Path of Heaven podcast, and we are looking forward to bringing you another fun one this episode. It's hard to say where to start. I mean, we had a really good episode, I think, on Praise the Orc originally, where we talked about the heart of this series, how this is much more a series, like most Korean things, we talk about how the game system is so important, and it's not to say that the game in this is unimportant, but it does very much take a back seat compared to most Korean novels, in that the emotions and the philosophies behind the characters play far more of an important role.
Well, the problem with that is this isn't a game world. Like, a lot of the other ones tease, like, maybe this is another dimension.
What?
This is legitimately another dimension set up by gods of another dimension that were like...
Another dimension?
Another dimension.
You said it enough times to trigger that effect. Sorry, continue.
So, yeah, these gods of Elder Lord, or Elder Road, or however they really want to call it, fought a bit because stars started dying, and the god of stars died. Legitimately, the god of all of the stars in that universe died.
You got to add some more concept. How did the god of all stars die?
Yeah, how do you kill a guy like that?
Got old.
Oh.
No, this entire book, as cool as it is, it's the battle against the inevitable heat death of the universe. This entire book is honor is greater than entropy.
Are you alive?
It doesn't matter if everything will die. You have to live as hard as you possibly can right now, because that's really just what
That's
matters.
some Gurren Lagann shit where, like,
I mean,
your honor is your drill, and you just got to live as hard as you can.
it do get me in the heart like it do. It, like, gets to those chapters where it just, like, blood starts pumping through your veins, because, like, fuck yeah! 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 Because, like, he just... The main character, Crocta, not Jung Ian, it gets to the point to where he is Crocta.
Jung Ian is the main character for maybe 45% of the book, and then Jung Ian very hard switches identities to Crocta, and occasionally goes outside to be Jung Ian.
That says a lot, because Jung Ian himself is freaking dope as a dude, so, like...
Yeah, no, he was a fucking, like, special agent.
But again, that was a post-falling action dude. Like, that guy lived his story.
Yeah, no, he was, like, living as a cafe owner to take care of his sister. He was just like, yeah, I'm done. And then, like, he found a thing to do, and he was just like, no, I have another war front. And so he fought. It's just like, he saw something nasty happen in front of him, and he just never could let it go. He was just like, no, I'm just going to be a good dude. I'm going to be such a good dude that everybody's just like, yeah, we're going to be good dudes too. And then, like, I'm going to fix everything like that.
Like a good dude virus?
Yeah, no, that's what Bul'tar meant to him, was like, living life so fiercely and like doing the right thing because it's what he wanted to do, and like letting other people see that and be like, fuck, I want to do the right thing.
There's so many stories, like when he goes to Armin and has the Armin Rescue Squad going around fighting rhinos for people, and he like had the silent spell cast on him, so like he couldn't talk, so he just thumbs up people, and people just thought he was fucking cool.
Well, he fucking was cool. I mean, I know we fucking talked about this story specifically in our past episode, but like him fucking carving the Warrior's Code onto the rock.
It was just the
one, but still.
Okay, so you go straight from Armin to Chesswood, where it's just users are killing NPCs because NPCs are NPCs. It doesn't matter, but he knows that they're real people, or he doesn't know that they're real people, but he feels like they're real people. And like, come on, guys.
I mean, just be decent.
Yeah,
he likes them more than real people.
Honestly, so he just fights users, saves the people of Chestwood with like the help of other people, like because Iron shows up in that. Iron, the fucking necromancer, possessed by Demogorgon. Let me just talk about Demogorgon for a second. He's a demon that you have to compliment him. You just have to tell him he's cool. And Iron's so good at it. So he's just like, they're bound together, but he's just like, oh yeah, I'll raise the dead for you. And he's just like, oh, you're so good at raising the dead. Oh, really? And he just keeps...
I'll raise some more dead for you, my guy.
Just praise me. Praise me more.
Praise me more.
Wait, he's not the orc. We don't praise him.
He's an orc, but still praiseworthy. I'm sorry, it's just the cool... That's a fan club for Crocta.
That starts because he's just being a good dude, and Lainey videotapes him and just like makes it her mission to spread the word of Crocta all across the land.
Yeah, I love that like there was just like a journalist who was like basically became the bard of the story.
Oh, I like that. A different interpretation of the bard, or like what's the there's a term for the person.
Greek chorus?
Yeah, the chorus, but there's also like a term for like
the fucking boy in Don Quixote, like.
Yeah, exactly. That there's a term for that person in a story that's not chorus. I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy. You know it. Tell us what it is in the comments.
I don't know. I can't.
No,
think of the word either. But
person who's listening, you know.
No, that's fair.
They have all these moments where like you're watching message boards of people, and that's where you get a lot of the fan club
I really
members.
like that kind of... Is it like formatted well? Like
I love the WeChat in Chinese. I love the fucking like the Korean message boards.
Legitimately, it's one of the things that got me reading a cultivation chat group to begin with, because I was like, yeah, that's fun. I want to see what they type like.
This is an aside, but I like how the more modern literature is touching on it. I mean, we all grew up with message boards,
Like
forums, AIM,
Oh, man.
MSN, all that. There was
ICQ.
friendships I had entirely based on that. So, like, something resonates with me when I see books pick up on that.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, there's going to be books coming up that are going to be historical that emulate Twitch chat
They're
in
gonna
the
have
books.
to. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's just too huge of a part of so many people's daily interactions that it can't be there. YouTube contents are going to be there. Like, come on.
Why do you think mobile gaming is so like incredibly prevalent on phones now? It's because the people with disposable income grew up playing video games, and now we need to have video games available to us at all times.
It's true. I want to play video games.
Also, they make money in microtransactions.
Oh yeah, got to make the money.
Yeah,
It's
that
that
wastes my
gambling,
time.
bruh. Is Kakegurui a book of any sort that's not just a straight manga?
It's a manga first.
Oh well. Anyways,
I really want to do a Kakegurui episode.
that would be.
I mean, I kind of want to do like
might
this
have had a
is an aside. I
novelization.
want to do a Grimgar episode for a while, like Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. It had an anime, but I read the books a long time ago, and they're really like they're D&D the book, and it's super sick. But continues back to Praise the Orc because it deserves more information.
Throw it on the pile. It's just everywhere he goes, he is just a profound force on the area around him, and people like genuinely fear him initially. But there are some places he shows up, like in the last. Whenever he's done conquering the north, he goes to the southern kingdoms because there's an emperor who's being made. Nobody likes it when there's an emperor. Kings are fine. Kings are just like the noble spokesman.
Right.
But an emperor...
Well, an emperor implies that he's gonna be up in your grill. Like, empires don't suddenly like stop being hungry for advancement.
True.
True. Yeah.
I mean, England,
Like
but
it didn't stop.
I
It
mean,
just, like,
they couldn't sustain it anymore.
Yeah.
That's the problem with empires. They take too much and can't support itself.
You either have to achieve world domination or die trying.
it's fair.
So yeah, whenever he goes to Alast, which is one of the holdout cities against the Empire, everybody's just like, "Oh no, you showed up with a knight. We fucking love you." And like that town gets wiped off the map, but not for lack of trying. Just everywhere he goes, he doesn't suffer a loss. I will say this. He may like lose things occasionally, but he drives forward and always does cut down his problem. I don't know. Maybe like how many stories have we read of a character failing, but like
This is the genre about the people that don't fail. Typically, there's one major failing in the story, and it's a big like plot point.
Or perhaps in their history, or like...
I do appreciate when books do focus on the failures of characters, but it isn't as common as it really should be because it would reflect life more. What would you say, in your opinion, would be the biggest test of Crocta in the story?
the biggest test would be shit. I honestly want to say it was when he was fighting Tribulation while it was possessing the War Chief of the North. Because that was when he first stepped into the hero realm. And then the second, which was tied to that, is when he's defending Alast. There's a battle with a knight who can also enter the hero realm. And he hits the heartbeat of the world. That moment is the greatest moment. Because of him hitting the heartbeat of the world, he was able to see what the Grey God couldn't see. Which we should zoom back out into that God fight now that I've waded into this.
For the people who are listening to this and haven't read the story, they're probably going to be curious. What is the hero realm?
Hey guys, this is a Knights episode where we talk about the entirety of the story. And
yeah, we should have announced that at the very beginning, but it's going to be in the description too.
Knights.
There's a lot of spoilers. If you're unfamiliar with our format, Knights episodes means that you probably shouldn't listen to the story if you care about spoilers.
We should have hit this so much
and,
earlier.
And want to read the book.
Hey, just edit everything we're saying in early.
We had another Praise the Orc episode. Go listen to that. Forget everything you heard here.
I think we intimated it, but continue.
No, I just felt the need to bring that up.
So yeah, I apologize for that. So the way he fights, you know how there are skill levels? There's common, uncommon, rare. There's special. There's pinnacle, which is like you would think would be the end of it, but after pinnacle is hero. So pinnacle is you are the best at actually doing the thing that you're doing. If you do the thing, the outcome will come out as it should. Hero is, I didn't cut you, so instead I did.
Hero realm is when you're like in Coiling Dragon. It was the difference between like when he broke out of the like swinging something heavy as if it was light and got into the realm of like I swing at you and you're locked down in place because I will it to be goddamn so.
Yes, no, it's more of like his sword would be in a place where it couldn't be, so it would shift to where it needed to be. Because he would just bend causality. Pinnacle would be like the world slows down to where you could just see all the minutia and like do things perfectly. Hero is it rewinds a little bit.
Yeah.
And like they love to talk in the later fights how like it's accelerating and decelerating as his will. Because, you know, he was just moving through the pinnacle as he needed to. I would say about 2/3 of the way through the book, he touched upon the hero realm. About 5/6 of the way, he perfected it. And then at the end, he hit the final thing where it was just like, oh, yeah, I solved all the problems. Don't worry about it. Oh, man. I need to talk about these extra chapters after a bit. But let me zoom back out into this god fight. So, the Star God died. And the Gray God and the Sun God were like, The Sun God started also dying because he's like the Star God, so he fell asleep so that, you know, this world could live. Yeah. So the Star God looked out into all of the dead stars and was like, well, shit, man, everything's gonna die. Like, I'm the Death God, I get it, but like, fuck. Eventually, everything will just stop. I don't want that to happen. I know. I'll rewind a bit. I'll take all the life energy that we have right here, and I'll just reset everything. Yeah, resetting's fine. Sure, it'll kill everything that's happening right now, and it'll undo everything that happened, but, like, we'll just start it over. I just want to live in the good times again. That's why everything started. The gods were like, no, we make sure the world works, and we don't want you to do that. So stop. She's like, I don't wanna. Hey, demons, help me out. And the gods are like, well, can't have that. So wipe the demons off the map, and cast the gray god down. She pops over to another dimension. Guess which dimension that was?
Is it ours?
It's our dimension.
It was our dimension.
Oh man.
And
It wasn't a guess. I've read the book.
was then like basically she found a physicist and his helper. This physicist was just like, oh yeah, I've been trying to fix entropy too. Yeah, let's see if we can solve your problem.
So then he like made a cool glass orb that was empty and like put it up on a pedestal, and she was like, yeah, let's pretend that's an AI. You run a really cool pod game now.
So like that fell into place.
I am the AI for your cool pod game now.
And with her power, there was like a net that was keeping her out, but that net had little like holes that she could send human souls through. And so that's why everyone was cursed by the stars. They were cursed by the gray god because of the dead star god, as were all the demons. So like there are literally 2 surviving demons that you get to meet.
Cursed by the Stars is the term in this game for player characters, and it's that's why they revive.
I know we talked about this before, but the NPC's method of dealing with players, because like you kill them, they come back with penalties, but whatever, they just wait. So they developed the concrete method where they just like capture you or just put you in jail.
I mean, that seems to be the easiest way to deal with anything that's immortal.
Yeah.
Just lock it up.
Yeah, put it at the bottom of the ocean or whatever.
As deep as you can and throw away the key.
Yep.
Yeah. So like it's really neat that like if you had people immortal in your world who kept attacking you and you're like, no, I want this to stop. I don't know. It's just neat. And it just further cemented that these were actually people and not just advanced AI.
There was a really cool moment where like he started pushing up against that artificial cap that we talked about in the first episode of like 90% on your like, I believe this is real. The assimilation rate, which affects how strong your skills are, affects how much pain you feel in the game, affects like how good you can potentially be. And like he started out in like the 60s or 70s, if I remember.
Yeah, he started at 50 and grew to 55 almost immediately.
Yeah. By the time he was fucking like out of the training camp, he was
mid 60s to 70.
Yeah. It wasn't even like this is real. It was like, I like this. I choose that this is real. Yeah. And he was just right.
He treated everything around him as if it was what it was. He didn't like sugarcoat it. He didn't like say, oh, this is a game. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. No, he was like, no, this is a person with real feelings who is literally telling me a side of life that I've never heard of before. And who's acting in ways that like I can't really say is artificial.
Can't come up with reasons why logically it would like go that way.
If this isn't real, it should be.
So he just climbs an assimilation rate, and eventually
he just like goes past that 90%, and it's like it's during the part where, if I remember it, it's during the part where he starts being like, "This is not."
I believe it's when he fights Tribulation,
yeah,
which is the great orc chieftain in the north. There's like a northern section that's blocked off because it was sealed by a giant beast, and there are orcs that live out there. And one of the god Tribulation possessed the orc chieftain to create a war to wipe out everything, because I guess that's just what he wanted to do now.
His name was Tribulation.
Yeah, true. And really, it was the Tribulation versus the World Tree fight where we first start, like, touching into the realm of the gods. But he also was supposed to find the Temple of the False God, or the Fallen God, or whatever, up there. And that's where he found the pyramid to the Star God, where we learned all the gods were dead, or that guy was dead. All the stars were dead.
At what point in the story did that happen, do you think?
2/3 of the way through is the war in the north, I
Gotcha.
feel.
Okay.
Well, that seems like an excellent place to jump into our new segment.
Was this Genre Savvy? Was the name of the segment?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I can't remember the name of the segment. Bill probably called it Genre Savvy. That seems right.
They literally said the words, and I was like, well, that was what I was going to call it, so let's just mosey on in.
Yeah. So this book has some tags on the Novel Updates website. The genres are like the ones that you would expect: action, adventure, comedy, fantasy, martial arts, whatever. But tags have some interesting ones. So we'll start with elves. I want to know about the elves. That's
okay. Well, there's a couple. There's the City of Elves. There's a lot of elf users. That's one of the usable races.
Of course there is. There's always trash elves.
Oh yeah, no, people love them.
Yeah.
In one of the cities, the elf hobos were being sold into slavery. I believe this was Anael. This was where he started the rescue squad.
Okay.
And they had an elf mayor who was like, her daughter kept killing and stuffing people.
That's not cool.
So he uncovered both of those plots and got rid of both of them.
Nice.
That was a neat elf thing. There was the dark elves in the north who protected the world tree. These are dark elves in the sense of they're tan with dark hair.
So they're not, dark with white hair. They're not
Your
drow.
classic drow.
Right. No,
They're like wood elves, basically.
Exactly. They live near the world tree. The apostle of the world tree is like this really jacked elf who does climbing.
Jacked elf sounds scary to me. Like an immortal jacked person
No,
is.
just imagine the Machia.
Oh yeah, no, he puts on the shirt and he just shrinks back down.
Yeah.
How heavy are the dumbbells that you lift? That's a great. Anyway,
It doesn't ask if you lift. It asks how heavy.
It assumes that you lift. We've got let's see. One of these is hiding true identity. We haven't talked about that at all.
Well, he's a user, but everyone thinks Krokta is an NPC.
Literally no one plays orcs.
Gotcha. Okay.
No one plays orcs, and the only way to tell if someone is a player character is the star mark on their forehead. So he wears a headband, and people for a very, very long time in the story assume that he is an NPC.
No, it is literally until the last 20 or so chapters where someone posts, this mysterious ranker who we've dubbed as Mystery, that's Krokta. And everybody's like, you're crazy. And then...
And they're like, wait. Oh shit, that's definitely Krokta, right?
No, that all lines up, doesn't it? Aww.
I didn't talk about, like, the very end that, like, really gets nasty. Like, that same dude, like, oh, yeah, no, it's Krokta. And he goes into the pod, and I remember the book distinctly says, it was a great mistake.
That's it.
It was just like, that was the end of a chapter, and that's what it left off on. I was like, oh, shit.
Let's see. Going through these, one of these MMORPG, and one of these just says orcs. That's not helpful.
Oh, I mean, orcs.
Yeah.
See,
That's
okay.
That's actually maybe the most important tag.
Here's the problem with these tags, okay? There are some degenerates out there that are going to see orc and elf as the tags, and their mind will go to terrible places.
This is actually, if you scroll down further and see what this is part of, what recommendation lists this is part of, you'll see that it's part of Chinese, Korean, and Japanese novels without harem, which is
that's good.
A list that somebody bothered to make. Does he not have a harem?
He definitely has people going after him, but he distinctly stays away from topics of love.
Also,
his harem is honor.
I see.
That's the best harem.
The other recommendation lists were my favorites, my joys, good novels, at least in my opinion, and top completed novels.
I mean, it
Here's
deserves
the good
that.
novel
It's a
update.
good one, man. It is. It found a way to fill like a very unique niche while still like hitting and subverting a lot of the tropes that you see in a lot of like a very typical Korean game novel.
What?
But at the same time, like it's not ever the typical Korean game novel.
It isn't. It touches the game and it uses the game as a facet, but the game is a fantasy tool, not the game is as important as what's happening. I don't know how better to
That's the best way, I think, to have a story use a system or the system, because like if you're focusing on the system, why are we reading this?
Again, there's just multiple times where Crocodile like leveled up like 4 to 5 times in a row, and like the book didn't tell you about it for like 4 to 5 chapters after it happened.
Because it didn't matter, because you were reading a Western style like fantasy
Yeah,
story.
you don't care about the game system so much.
It feels like this is D&D with a loose structure around it, and less like you're actually playing WoW. To dip overgeared feels like you're playing a very fine-tuned version of WoW in a great fantasy setting. But that's because it talks about like the esports around it. It talks about all the countries. This talks about other countries, kind of, but it's more about like the actual world of Elderlord. Whereas Overgeared, I feel, is like a solid 66-33.
I have one last one that I feel is worth asking about. The rest of them are kind of what you would expect. I want to know about younger sisters.
The reason why the Earth was saved and the tragedy of the God of Stars was avoided was because Jung Ian's sister is so bad at the game, she kept dying to a rabbit, and her friends kept making fun of her for it.
Worse. Causality happened that a gust of wind knocked a leaf off of a tree branch onto someone's jacket, forced her to walk into his shop as he was talking to his mentor about playing this game. And he was thinking, nah, I'm not going to do it to protect his sister. Then these two girls who walk in because the leaf fell on her jacket say, this guy in Elder Lord touched my butt the other day. He's such a creep. Which then hit a flip switch in his head going, I have to protect my sister. I have to play this game. I have to become...
There are creeps in there? Oh, no.
I'll have to murder them all so my sister is safe. But then now I'm an orc, and actually this is better. Sorry, sister. Being an orc is very important.
This is very fun for me, so...
And it's okay. It's because of that he saves the world. Repeatedly. Forever.
Now, I need to make sure. Did they actually focus on the causality to trigger him to start playing it?
Yes, that happened towards the end. That it was a very distinct
Wow.
scene. When I say the heartbeat of the world, he sees a line that goes through everyone, through every scene he's ever been in. He sees the fourth dimension. He just sees it.
It's like a Tesseract situation.
He sees that a thing he did hit causal winds that knocked a leaf, that did all of that action. Like, without him doing these things in the future, he wouldn't have done them in the past, sort of deal. He would always have done it. It was always going to turn out this way.
It was a self-fulfilling prophecy via him unknowingly messing with the red lines of fate.
Exactly. Except, like none of this would have happened if he wasn't, like, the goodest dude. So,
he was a good dude, thus propagated more good things, leading to more good dudes.
The story, the eventual good end is the entry doesn't matter because eventually everything that falls must rise.
So, Elder Lord and our world
are kind of like side-by-side worlds that touch through a dimensional, like, thread. Like, not a thread, but, like, their walls kind of touch and squish a bit. And that was how the Gray God was able to, like, function.
Yeah. So, like, one of the last scenes we see, like, the extra chapters he's talking about, is Jung Ian with Crocta's skills in the real world fucking fighting with all the ferocity that fucking Crocta had with his, like, gnome buddy and his magical gun general fighting right there behind him, and they're just broing out on Earth.
It sounds incredible.
Because of all the mess of her... Because she crosses back over to... in the world to reset everything, la-di-da. So, like, that tears holes, and that, like, makes things kind of fragile. And now we have demons entering our world that all they want to do is eat people.
But it's fine, because Jung Ian / Crocta exists in our world, so we're fine.
Everyone who was in Elder Lord, since Elder Lord isn't a game anymore, they have powers now. They're hunters.
They get to keep their...
Yeah, they just kind of fused with their character avatars.
So, like, there's hunting teams around, and they're funded by the government, and so, like, they hunt prey, and...
That sounds
and then it had a very, like, but that's a story for another time vibe.
Yeah.
As it went away, which is, like, it had this whole implication that basically the whole thing was essentially the origin story for the magic story that starts on Earth.
Don't get me wrong, I would read more about, like, Ian just fucking shit up, because, like, the last thing was he was fighting a zombie dragon in Egypt or something like that. So, you know, like... Anything else from this tagland?
No, there's male protagonist.
Nah.
Hard-working protagonist?
He indeed is one of those, I will just do it right until it's done well.
I mean, don't forget the attitudes of the orcs at the beginning. So what? It's hard? Nobody cares. Keep working.
I do have one. Guilds.
There's a couple of guilds. The Thawing Balway clan is like, they were the clan that killed all of his teachers and all the bro orcs at the beginning that kind of pushed him down the hill of, no.
Fucking orc traitor joined with them.
It is his vengeance quest that pretty much propels most of the story.
Yeah, he's like, well, I gotta find and kill this person, and he meets enough people and influences enough things that he then becomes the protagonist of the world story, too.
So he kills them in Chesswood, they break up, and then go and join the Heaven and Earth clan, in the south. So whenever he is done in the north, he comes back to the south to join, like, making the Emperor happen. So he defeats them. Okay. There's a fun point where the leader has an army and they're marching the army and they've been fucking with them, killing places and people. And they're like, we're not going to care about Crocta. So he's going to defend a town and he's looking around. And at this point, he has like Shinigami eyes from Death Note kind of thing where he can see everybody's lifespan. He's like, no, they're not going to die in 2 days. And then he just runs and he just solo mans an entire army for a while because he can. Grey God's like, no, stop. You're going to die. Like, and he's like, I don't care. He's like, okay, fine. And that's like, I believe that is the time she gives him Assimilation 100. He dies in the game. He dies in real life.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's when she's just like, well, fine. If that's how you're going to be, then, like, you will die.
Grey God's kind of an asshole.
Oh, yeah, no, she absolutely was. The entire time.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's the paladin that took over for the lawful, like, the chaotic evil god because the balance needed to be maintained. Like, that's the Grey God. Like, she is a dick, but she very much believes she's doing what's right.
True that. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I could have an entire episode talking about how all of these gods are dicks. They don't care, and they don't know if they're right or not. They don't care.
They're beyond being right or wrong. We're gods.
Yeah, like, we uphold the world. You should be thanking us.
We just are.
Yeah.
Because, like, they believe that the orcs were working with the Grey God because Crocta has a essence of the Grey God on him. So they were like, well, we're just going to take all the orcs and hide them underground forever.
Seems like a good place for them.
Yeah. They're just going to be in a world without light, and that's where they're going to live. And that is okay because we get to keep our world. It was just a bunch of people who were like, no, we can't, like, let our stuff be taken away. It's our stuff. This is our stuff, man.
Okay. I like this. I just came up with a new thing. Title game game.
You got to come up with an actual name.
Yeah,
Title game
I
title.
will by the time
The title of the title of the title.
Yeah, the title of the game is the title game title. Whatever.
Seems bad.
It's where I look at chapter titles and then I challenge you to tell me why they named it that. Although most of these are just pretty good. Well, one of these looks like Name-Ragon, so like Gnome-Ragon, but with the word name instead. So that's fun. What is that?
Namaragon?
I'm pretty sure that was a place.
I believe so as well. What chapter is it?
It's 92 through 5.
92.
After the Black Forest, but before the Temple of the Fallen God.
It was a town that that was in the north. The Black Forest was filled with creatures. Oh no! That was Gishantamir. Don't you remember Gishantamir?
Not by name.
The Black Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, the Black Forest, I believe, had
Yeah.
Gishantamir.
No. Oh God. Yeah. No. That was like one of the coolest fucking characters. That was the dragon that collected friends as treasure.
Oh, they are the greatest treasure.
No.
Well, yeah, no, but her friend, like, you had to be at least this good to be her friend.
Oh, I see.
Everybody would come to her and she would just teach them fighting. She's what taught Crocta that there was a level beyond the pinnacle, which was the hero realm. But it was like you have to feel it for yourself, sort of thing. And then he goes off and fights Tribulation, and then, like, pals.
Yeah, see, and in a normal fucking Korean thing, the dragon would have been like, oh, you'll need to be at least level 90 to be able to unlock this. In this game, it's like, no, you really gotta feel it. It's very esoteric in its, like, terms, and it's everything. I think that's a very good description of this book. It's a very esoteric book.
It uses the game as, like, a vehicle to get you into another world.
The game is almost a skin for the story they're telling.
It makes it accessible.
It could not be a game. Like, it could have been anything else.
Sounds like it could have just been an isekai where dude's trading his soul between two places.
That's
exactly what it is.
It is an isekai. It's just a mystery that it's an isekai until the end.
And the other people who can do it don't realize this ain't a freaking game and they're being assholes.
There's a series of chapters in here called Dirty South.
Yeah, no, that was just the South.
Okay. The translator was like having fun with title names? Or maybe it was...
No, the South is just like sort of a weird Badlands, especially because all of these users were, being nasty and there were bandits about and all that mess. Because the Emperor was empiring.
We have not spent much time talking about Crocta's, like, companions.
Oh, God, we have not talked about Tio Nor.
Yeah, we teased Tiero a little bit, the manly gnome.
Manly gnome?
Yeah, no.
Tell me more.
He looks like Bruce Lee, except, a gnome.
Oh, I'm a fan. Does he wear the jumpsuit?
No, like
He's missing a trick.
he looks like Bruce Lee when he takes his shirt off.
Oh.
Like, that's specifically how the author decides to describe him.
So slim and perfectly balanced and
A tiny little box
tight.
of muscles.
He looks like a child with clothes on, but once he takes his shirt off, he looks like Bruce Lee.
cut as all hell, ready for war.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he needs to be. He's got a cannon, rifle, pistol, sniper.
It's a rifle. It's a dragon weapon. And it's supposed to be a gun of an imagination. It's whatever form you want it to take. But it just takes imagination, which he lacks at the beginning, because he thinks it just should be a rifle.
So it's just a rifle or a pistol.
Actually, it's just a rifle until he turns it into Vulcan, where it becomes a machine gun.
Yeah, that was a good time.
And then at the end, he turns it into a cannon. Like just a straight missile launcher howitzer with the dragon on the front.
So what's up with Asian, like, there's so many Korean novels and Japanese novels I've read where they have one person who has a gun whose gun works on imagination. That's a trope. That's a thing I've run into. It's in Blaze Blue. It's in a couple other things.
It's the orcs. It's the orcs from 40K.
Yeah. They work on imagination.
I mean, like, that's not necessarily the genesis of it, but, like, the orcs from 40K's guns work on imagination. It's the fact that they think that they work. They can put whatever the fuck they want in
that
there.
and the fact that their entire race is latently psychic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But like
the concept of a gun powered by imagination is just so, like, why can't that ever be the main character though? Like,
yeah, that'd be fun.
Because we're not writing the story.
God,
Richard.
We're not doing it
they
justice.
never do it justice either. Because it's like, your gun's power, you can fire whatever you want out of that. Why don't you just imagine the bullet's already in their head and it's done?
It's cool. They gave one to a character in Overgeared, and it's overgeared, so they might actually get justice.
Oh yeah, you're right.
For the most part, though, he powers it with magic and imagination, because it's a gnome gun. He uses it basically as a giant stun gun. He just shoots people and it like hurts a lot, so they fall down. Ow.
Okay.
Only at the end does he start actually shooting to set
phasers to kill.
Yep.
exactly that.
Except this time it actually succeeds in finally killing something.
Oh boy, does
Hey, it works like 70% of the time in Star Trek.
Never works when you need it to.
Yeah, well, those obviously that's because those are the actual threats.
His second friend, Anor, is a half dark elf, half human. His mom was the human, and he was living in the north, in, I think, Namragon, the city after the Black Forest.
I think so, yeah.
And that place gets, like, fucked up by orcs. But he's a half-blood, so they, like, treated him like shit the entire time. And he's always just trying to be a good elf. Until finally, he just, like, Crocta says something to him, and he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to be a good elf anymore. I'm going to be a bad person. So he cuts off the tips of his ears. He decides to be more human, and that, like,
ooh, that's baller.
Unlocks his latent necromancer blood from his mom's side. So he just starts being necromancer.
I need more half elves to do that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no.
You cut the knife ears off, man. Just be a dude.
Not only that, he creates a cursing complex where he just, like, curses at people all over and over. And his friends have to, like, you know, make him stop.
Or, like, explain
the manly
it very
gnome
nicely.
has, like, a verbal tick.
Where it just says dot at the end of every
Where
sentence.
he just says dot, so he'll be, like, saying hardcore shit and then be like, rah, 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 dot.
It's okay, Dot. We'll shoot it out of the sky, Dot. Just like talking to the third member of the Animaniacs. But Anor becomes their mount maker for a while. He just creates undead mounts for a bit. That's fun. One of which was a wyvern in a museum in the World Tree. He was just like, oh yeah, we have this wyvern that attacked us and gave us quite a trouble. He's like, yeah, that'll do.
Lives in the fucking stables now. Wait, do you have to feed an undead wyvern?
Oh no, you just have to fly it until it falls apart.
Oh.
As is most undead mounts. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
Gotta read more of these Korean system-based undead, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
They
I
run
didn't read
until
Soul
they break.
Station Necromancer. I should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like exactly that thing.
I'll be honest, I mix up a little bit of Soul Station Necromancer in this book from time to time. The endings in particular run.
Yeah, what is the ending? What's just a flat
the fucking
ending?
the god thing.
Well, it's like
the world's fusing.
the last of the extra chapters.
Oh, he's going to Australia because on Ayers Rock there's this Ozzy Dahaka which is this giant undead dragon that attacked Sydney, destroyed it, turned it into a lair, and they were like, we can't deal with this. Nuke it from orbit. So they nuked it from orbit, and it died. But while he was fighting in Egypt and then in Libya, it woke up and moved. And he was like, well, I guess I gotta go handle this because literally no one else in this entire world can.
So the end of the book is him just being a badass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, that said, it feels like there should be more extra chapters that I haven't read. However...
There were only 8. I double-checked.
Yeah.
The fact that you got 8 was kind of nice, though.
It was,
it's
and
just-
they were very good.
Korean novels frequently make me feel empty when I'm done at the end, because like so often they fast forward to the end, or they end up and I love these characters and I don't want them to go.
That.
So then they give you the extra chapters, but it's just like a sip of water in a desert, and the desert's like forever.
Yeah, no, it's rough, but it is nice because like you're saying, the Korean novels, they tend to Western stories tend to have much more of our typical story structure, which is that, rising action hits the climax, falling action, ends the story. Where, Korean novels, I feel, tend to, much more of the intense on the rising action.
Yeah.
Until you hit the climax, and the story pretty much ends immediately once the climax. Because the climax of the story is the main character finally hit that level where he is the strongest.
Yeah.
Or is strong enough to solve the problem.
Or the world changes, or
we figure out that Elder Lord was the real world all along.
rewrite the universe because this is wrong and we need to correct it, or
we were all in capsules on Mars.
Soul Station Necromancer, Jesus. Oh, God.
I did look it up, and this author hasn't written anything else, or at least not that I can find.
No.
So the last translated bit of it came out in 2017, and then just kind of been... It was a rainbow turtle. That makes anybody happy.
Rainbow Turtle is like...
She got good taste, man.
40 for 40 with these novels. I've read every single Rainbow Turtle translated novel, and all of them have been good.
Yeah.
Not one. The weakest one was Dungeon Hunter, and that one's still really good. So
We're starting to get to the part where we have to do business.
Aw.
Ew.
Yep.
Business.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know Praise the Orc was a really fun book.
Well, we have a couple things.
That's part of business. Yeah.
Let's start with, we have a review. I think we read the last review that we read last time also, but it's such a good review.
it deserves twice. Come on.
We'll read it twice. That guy's
And again,
cool.
it was from friend of the podcast.
But I gave Richard this one. Who's this one from?
So this is a 5-star review from Clockwork from South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah, and it's recent too, really recent. Thank you for this great podcast. I discovered it a week ago and listened to every episode since. The niche penetration of this genre, along with the serious time investment, has made it hard to encounter others who share my joy. Keep doing what you do. James in South Africa. Heart.
Oh, that's
Aww.
cool. James in South Africa was actually our first patron. So on that note, we had another patron that decided after James did their donation to do a donation, and they are a sect elder.
They showed such potential that they rose from a mere outer sect member to a sect elder in the breath of a single day.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They took that challenge.
From chosen to sect elder, actually. So that follows a lot
Well,
better.
yeah, but it still happened within 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was 16. Yuki Okami, you wild for this one, etc. So part of the reward is we say your name at the end of every episode. So Yuki Okami.
Yuki Okami.
Thanks for helping us do this. We appreciate it, Yuki Okami.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was all four of us. Was that stipulated?
No, that's not part of the thing, but we all said it, so what happened? It seemed like the rhythm was lost. So Yuki Okami gets to demand an episode from us too, and they demanded Dolu Dalu Nights.
So I have started the fun reread of Dolu Dalu, and we'll have that out at some point by the end of September.
Me and Bill are gonna read the manga.
I'm gonna read some of it.
I'm gonna read the manhwa.
I'm going to read it all because I'm a glutton for punishment.
Just not punishment, man. I've been meaning to reread this one. It's really good. I got stuck waiting for Bagel-san to finish it, and I don't think he actually is ever intending on doing it now. So I'm just going to give up and read the actual machine translation. But I'm letting myself catch up to where I was, which was, I believe, 6 chapters before the end.
Well,
before I
dun,
read
dun.
it. So
when I mean like glutton for punishment, I don't mean like the book is bad. I mean I'm going to probably
lose sleep.
lose sleep and knock it all out in
Yeah,
like
that's
a
fair.
few days because I have a problem.
Well,
I get that, but it's a good read. It's so I forgot how much I liked this series. Like for real, I can't not wait to reread this. So thank you again, Yuki Okami, for not just your support, but also making me reread Dolo Dalu.
Yeah, it's super wild. We
Twisting
now
her arm.
we are currently at $50 per episode. Our next goal is to try and hit $100 an episode, and once that happens, anybody who's our patron will get to listen to a fun monthly podcast that we do. That's like about news and maybe like latest chapters of novels we've talked about. Like,
Yeah, 9-Star Hegemon Body.
Pretty
Arts
much record
weekly
what
review.
happens when I walk in and be like, "Hey, did you read that last
Yeah,
episode before we start this?"
exactly.
Pretty much record.
Record the early talk.
Yeah, pretty much that's what we do. We're like, hey, which novels are we talking about? All right, we're doing this and this, and then the next thing is like, did you read the last chapters of Overgeared? Are you caught up to date on 9-Star Hegemon Body Arts?
Yo,
Yeah,
man,
that
this
sounds
thing happened in tutorials too hard. It's like what?
That would be a very fun show. And if you subscribe to or support us on Patreon for, I think it's like $5 get you the bonus content, then like boom, done. Otherwise, you are hearing this episode a week after it came out. If you pay $2 an episode, you can listen to it as soon as it does, and you get to listen to some of the bonus content.
Long story short, if you've got the money, please don't. If it's not financially viable right
Yeah,
now,
man.
we've all been in a position where we.
Don't hurt yourself to do it.
But if you're in a place where you can support us and you'd like to, please check out our Patreon.
It's patreon.com/tigercoaster, but you can also just like Tiger Rollercoaster Patreon. There's links to it. There'll be a link to it.
You know, if you want to tell us to review a particular book, do anything like that, please join us on our Discord. We've got a lot of fans that are active. We on the Discord, and we get to chat with. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we talk in there all the time. And I'll keep coming back to the Patreon, but you do get your color changed if you. It's fucking pointless. It doesn't
I
do
get
anything.
it, man, but save some selling for other episodes, my dude.
What's the next episode?
I think we're gonna try a new format. Actually, it's gonna cost us a fucking arm and a leg for another goddamn splash art. Like we have unique splash arts or unique thumbnails for all of our show types already.
Yeah, we
Totes.
totally already have that.
Yeah, you can totally tell if it's a Knights just by looking at the thumbnail. Totally, absolutely.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
it
read
always
the
has
words.
been, always historically.
Always.
as
It
well.
always
will be.
But we're gonna do a new one. I think you guys will enjoy it. It's
It's going to be a new format called Purgatory,
Yeah.
where we talk about books that we'll probably never ever finish, or have moved to one chapter whenever the author feels like it. You
Which
know,
is
books
never.
caught in Berserk status.
I was gonna say
Which is
that-
never where. Well,
Is that
at least
Hunter x Hunter
Berserk
status?
moved off of the boat. This is more like caught on Hunter x Hunter status where a new Dragon Quest came out.
Aw, Dragon Quest fucks up everything.
One of my favorite anime reviewers on fucking Twitter was talking about Guts, and it's like they finally got off the boat, and it's like fucking 25 years later. It should be a big moment, but I'm just like, finally.
It's not relief. It's slight disappointment and expectation.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Ippo, if he will ever get laid.
Man, don't talk to me about Ippo. You should tread carefully. Shit has gone down in Ippo, and current fans that are up to date are going to be upset.
Oh, well, what else?
I'm not going to say in what respect,
Uh,
and it's probably unrelated to romance. Because let's be honest, does that part ever move forward?
No. You can find us on Twitter at TigerCoaster. You can send us an email at tiger.rollercoaster@gmail.com. But also just get in our Discord. There's a link to it in the description, and also other places. But yeah, the Patreon thing that I've been talking about a bunch. Don't let me bully you. That'd be mean. Yeah, that's the places to find us online.
Absolutely.
Oh, we might have pictures. We're going to have pictures of this session. So, like, you might have already seen it. Us recording this right now. Snap picture.
Totally. That's what's happening right now.
Yep, pictures.
But all right, so I guess that brings us to the end of our business, which means that we have our final segment of the night, We didn't even get to talk about.
That doesn't seem right for this kind of show, but let's do it.
Let's
do it anyway.
Didn't even get to talk about Paimon and Abaddon, the two demons that survived and we do get to see. One of which makes spicy noodles.
Ooh.
I hope it was Paimon.
Demon spicy noodles?
I believe it is Paimon.
Of course it was Paimon.
Wonderful.
We didn't even get to talk about.
We didn't even get to talk about the fact that he basically became the Great War Chief by just beating everybody. He beat the Great War Chief, but he didn't beat everybody up. And was just like, all right, I'm Great War Chief now. Now this guy's Great War Chief. Deal with it. We didn't get to talk about Rommel. I don't even think we got to talk about Rommel the first time. He's
General Erwin Rommel?
kind of. His name is Choi Hansung. He's a user, and he gets a class called War Maestro.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
Rommel.
fun class. But that's going to wrap us up for the night. Thank you so much for your support and listening, and we hope to see you again soon.
Tell about us to a friend. That's not words.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tiger Rollercoaster Productions. Tigers are scary. You try to get off.